I was just so impressed with the Kings bench players and young guys, particularly. Kevin Huerter is still relatively young. He's like 23, 24 years old, 24, I believe now. He did a really good job defensively chasing in this game. I thought Keegan Murray did a great job defensively, as you will see in these clips. I thought that Malik Monk was pretty good defensively, and he is not someone that I typically associate with defense. I absolutely thought that De'Aaron Fox has continued to play well defensively. Davion Mitchell only played 11 minutes in this game because everybody else played great defensively, and that includes the guy that I thought was maybe the tempo changer of this entire game, Terence Davis. And maybe this is where we go in to the clips now, because my goodness, what these guys did, I thought was just so impressive. So here, what you're going to see, this first clip, it's just showcasing exactly what the Kings wanted to do all night. They are going over the top of screens, chasing from behind, going over the top of dribble handoffs, chasing from behind, and trying to force the Warriors into more difficult shots. There were times where they adjusted. I'll showcase some of those adjustments later on, especially when Domantas Sabonis was off the court, but they were chasing the whole game. And you'll see here. So here's Keegan Murray. He's chasing right over the top. He's recovering, stopping Jordan Poole from getting there. Again, we're going to see Kevin Huerter here chasing Klay Thompson over the top, making life tough, making those guys make quick, rapid decisions. And typically the Warriors thrive on that. But if you can crowd them, they can turn the ball over. This has been a staple of their dynasty. They will turn the ball over a little bit more often than what you would think. Here, they get the turnover again. So next possession here, you're going to see the ball. A big thing that the Warriors did in game 5 was they tried to invert their offense, having Domantas Sabonis come away from the basket, which left them with no rim protection near the basket. So what you're going to see here is the Warriors are going to try and do it again. They have Kevon Looney at the top of the key, right? Davion Mitchell is guarding. I believe that's probably Steph here in this circumstance. He actually flies backward because I think he's judging that this is going to be a backdoor cut as opposed to essentially a screen into a dribble handoff here, a stagger screen into a dribble handoff. And he's way behind the 8 ball. You expect it to where this is probably going to end up in a shot. This is actually Jordan Poole. It's not Steph. I'm sorry. And he just eventually gets back. He fights his way back in. He gets into the play. Jordan Poole's going to make some of those sometimes. Jordan Poole was dreadful today, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this is a classic, like, terrible Jordan Poole game. You're going to get good games. You're going to get bad games. It's the reality of the Jordan Poole experience. This was not one of the good ones for the Warriors today. He misses this one in part because of the late contest by Davion Mitchell and chasing over the top here. So this is where the Terence Davis show starts, I believe. So Terence Davis just absolutely hounding and frustrating everybody here. Look on the backside of this exchange, by the way, as well. You're going to see Keegan Murray fight over the top of this screen. He's fighting. He's trying to get there. In the end, they just decide, all right, I'm Terence Davis. I'm going to take this switch. Keegan, peel off, go back to Dante. Terence Davis takes the switch, takes it on, contests the mid-range jumper, tough shot. The Kings are going to be ecstatic with that shot every single time. Here you go again. The whole goal, you're going to see multiple on-ball exchanges here where they're going to try and get Stephen Curry switched off of Terence Davis onto Keegan Murray. So here, they don't accept it the first time. Wiggins comes back up, right? He gets it. They get it the second time, and Keegan's just going to sit down. Steph is going to dance. Keegan's going to sit down. They're going to get the deflection from De'Aaron Fox. De'Aaron's going to throw the ball back in. Turnover. Lyles corrals it, brings the ball back. Here we go again. Terence Davis on Stephen Curry. Just watch him chase over the top. He's chasing over the top here once, makes it so that Steph can't get to the curl the first time. Here we go again. Steph's going to peel off again. Look, Steph is going to make these sometimes, right? Steph is maybe the best on-ball mover or off-ball mover in the NBA. One of the best off-ball movers of all time. there are going to be times where Steph makes these shots. This is a pretty open look for Steph. But you know what? Terence Davis fights back. He gets into the play, gets the late contest. You never know how much that affects things. Again, though, it's the effort to continue to get over the top of these screening actions that I think is so important.
And Sam, one thing that Mike Brown definitely knows is how do you best contest Steph Curry's shots? How do you wear him out? Because he's not going to stop moving. They're going to run an entire motion-based system about getting him the ball on the move. How do you find ways to make it hard on him? I think one is to be really physical with him and try to jam him before those cuts happen, just the way that Terence Davis was doing in that last clip. And then the other way is to make him guard on the defensive end of the floor, that if you wear him down, if you make sure that he cannot rest when he is on defense, then he's going to maybe have a little bit less of the explosion and pop to get those shots off in the minimal space that you're allowing him to on the other end of the floor. I thought Sacramento did both things throughout the night. They attacked Steph and made him guard on the other end of the floor, and then they were really physical with him before the catch, so that as soon as he's open, he's assuming he's about to get hounded or contested by somebody else.
Yep, I think that's dead on. Okay, so here, again, Terence Davis, just making life absolutely miserable for whoever is in front of him. This is one where they just decide to straight switch the action. The Warriors started running some like guard on guard screening actions at one point because inverting the offense wasn't quite working in the way that they wanted it to and the way it worked in game 5. So here you're going to see a guard screening action. They're just going to switch it instead of trying to get over the top, right? Here, De'Aaron goes to Jordan Poole, I believe that is. Terence Davis switches off, and it's just very simple. Just very, very simple. Makes life way, way harder. That's the Steph that De'Aaron went to and Davis went to Jordan Poole. But yeah, just super, super impressive stuff. And again, here you go again. Eventually the Warriors get the rebound. They kick it back out with Kevon. Look at that closeout right on the money by De'Aaron Fox. Absolutely perfect. The exact way you have to close out on Stephen Curry. Steph is going to drive him, and then just a perfect dig. Perfectly timed. Gets his hands in there. Makes Steph turn the ball over. Just absolutely perfect work by Terence Davis here. And again, Terence Davis, I believe this is late in the first half again. Just making life absolutely hell for Klay Thompson here. Klay Thompson eventually is going to settle for this terrible, fade away, going toward his right, spinning backward jumper. And that is just remarkable defense by Terence Davis across the board. Terence Davis deserves so much credit, I think, for what he did in this game. I think he was absolutely incredible.
Well, settle was an appropriate word for a lot of the shots that the Warriors took. I think they struggled to get anything at the rim. They struggled to get their first option, which was Steph. And then guys like Wiggins and Klay, I call it the rule of one, right? Like if everybody takes one bad shot, the residual effect is you as a team have probably taken 4, 5, or 6. And then Jordan Poole took way too many of them. He was forcing off the bounce. Like he was throwing them up in transition as he's got no hope of actually making a layup. He's taking wing isolations whenever he can get them and ripping baseline and trying to score through 2 guys. Like it just was not a good decision-making game from Jordan Poole. And when the opponent is speeding you up and going to force turnovers, you can't afford to take that many bad shots. And that's where Golden State really got hurt by the great individual defense of the Kings is what it turned into. Guys who shouldn't be taking contested mid-range jumpers or out of control rim attack drives that ended up doing so.
Yeah, I think that's dead on. Here we go again. Jordan Poole. This is actually like a fine drive from Jordan Poole. I mean,
good keeper.
Yeah. Here we go. Dribble handoff. They decide to go under on this one just because that's the best angle for De'Aaron Fox to take on this play. De'Aaron Fox stays in front of Jordan Poole, but Jordan just has that sick little shake. Little, almost like a Steve Smith kind of move a little bit. Here we go. Look at Malik Monk. Look at Malik Monk lurking there on the backside. Here he comes. Just gets up and absolutely swats the hell out of this ball.
Can you rewind that one for me, Sam?
Absolutely.
So you had mentioned the first half with this game about the Warriors wanting to drag away Domantas Sabonis from the rim so that they could open up the basket for a little bit more of a rim attack situation. That's certainly what they're designed to do here. I thought in the third quarter, the Warriors were really running this exact type of action a ton where they would hit Draymond Green at the top of the key and then come off of him for a give and go. They wanted to do that with Steph. They wanted to do that with Poole and then flow into, if they couldn't get a handoff back, if the Kings were continuing to jam that on that first action, run towards the corner where I believe Klay Thompson is standing right now and turn that into a guard-to-guard off-ball screen, a slip split type of action that would leverage some sort of a backdoor cut, have Draymond Green's enormous passing ability try to take that away. The Kings were continuing to sag off Draymond Green. You take a look where his primary defender is right now, standing at the free throw line. Those backdoor cuts and avenues for those passes weren't always open. The other thing that the Kings were able to do is exactly what Malik Monk did in this clip. When you're guarding in that opposite corner, a non-shooter, somebody that you can rove off of a little bit and the Kings don't have to rotate to, you can still find that backside rim protection. So while the Warriors wanted to open up the lane and use their cutting prowess to be able to get maybe a backdoor layup or two from some of this 5-out delay spacing, the Kings were strategically positioned to take that away with how they guarded Draymond on ball, having a one non-shooter to help off of, and then being super physical with everybody else.
That's dead on. And by the way, Malik Monk is committed at this point.
Yeah.
Gary Payton II is flying, coming in. I think this is a pass that Jordan Poole can make. And I think this is a pass that Jordan Poole should be looking to make once he sees Malik Monk. This is the growth in Jordan Poole's game that he needs to make. This is where his game will really take that next step. We know that he can create separation. We know that he has that ability. He has that tremendous shake with the ball in his hands. This is the next step. It's the decision-making to be able to pass this ball off when he sees Malik Monk. And look, like Malik Monk, not exactly like a loaded rim protector that you're expecting to not be able to finish, but you go inside hand here and that you're just setting yourself up with this little lofted ball to get your shit sent back every single time by someone that is as athletic even as Malik Monk. Malik Monk, tremendous athlete, not necessarily a, elite level rim protector that we think of all the time. Here we go. And this is just, again, look at who it is. It's Terence Davis. Terence Davis on the ball. They're actually going to trap here because they do sometimes like to trap up top, up high. They've been doing it throughout the course of the series. Those kind of left wing offensively, right wing defensively traps. As you've noticed throughout the series, especially with Domantas Sabonis, you will see these typically turn into little slip passes here to Kevon Looney or to Draymond. Kevon gets that little short roll pass here. And then he's going to try and find the open man. To me, I think he probably makes the right call. You would like to see Kevon probably try and pressure that backline man again in Keegan Murray a couple of times and see if he can get him to commit just that little bit extra. But that's probably asking a little bit too much from a center. I think Kevon Looney here does a good job, tries to make the man commit. You can certainly make a case that Gary Payton II is wide open in that other corner, but Gary Payton's not a shooter. And at the end of the day, this is probably the right pass. And this is something that the Kings, I thought, did really, really well throughout this game. They ran guys off the line. They ran guys off the line at a super high level. Malik Monk chases him off the line here, gets Dante right into the lane. There's Keegan Murray just waiting to help. I thought their help defense was on point. I thought that it was absolutely tremendous.
Yep. And Sam, if there's ever a time to run somebody off of the line, it's after a short roll from Kevon Looney or Draymond Green, because it means that there is at least one offensive player already standing in the lane by virtue of the fact that he passed it there. They're not shooting threats or guys that are going to relocate out to the perimeter around a repenetration opportunity. And you saw the Andrew Wiggins cut along the baseline. That's something the Warriors have always done. I don't want to call it an automatic, but they love to slash along the baseline opposite side from where the short roll pass came from. So Steph being trapped on the left offensive wing, they're going to send the right corner back door along the baseline to the rim. And Draymond Green has thrown lob after lob after lob in his career trying to get guys points on that opportunity. But if the pass goes out to the perimeter and you run that guy off the line, you now probably have, as we see in the clip, 3 Kings defenders and 2 Golden State Warriors standing in the lane. So the impact of Dante DiVincenzo not getting a catch and shoot 3 and having to settle for some sort of a floater is exactly what the Kings want. It's the perfect situation to do a flyby closeout and chase somebody off the line.
100% right there. And then this last one here, I actually don't remember this off the top of my head. I think that what I wanted to show here is Steph throws this little entry pass to the wing. And look at, this is a patented spot where they would typically try to maybe run a little dummy action or to try and like have Draymond Green come up, set a little screen for Stephen Curry to start, to try and get that backdoor cut, or to try and just, have Draymond Green come up at some point, or potentially just to have Stephen Curry get open on that backdoor cut. Look at how tight Terence Davis is here to Stephen Curry. He's literally touching him. He's right in his back pocket the whole way. Right in his back pocket the whole way. Here we go. Draymond Green gets the entry, throws it out to the wing. And again, we're going to see a baseline drive, because that is, if nothing else, Jordan Poole, you can expect a baseline drive from Jordan Poole. And here, just tremendous help defense from Trey Lyles. Again, this is a circumstance where you could see exactly what Adam was talking about earlier. The Kings were much more comfortable just laying off of Draymond Green from the perimeter and just being willing to live with the results. Here, Trey Lyles just sinks right off of him, more than happy to, gets the contest, forces the difficult rebound, ends up being out on Jordan Poole, ends up being Kings ball. At that point, the Kings start a run, and they really end up taking this game in the fourth quarter. I think they won the fourth by like 11 points or something. Well, just a tremendous game by the Kings.
And I'm glad that you brought that clip up there at the end, because the timing of that was important. First play of the fourth quarter there for Golden State. And I think that it was an ATO play, a designed action for Jordan Poole to rip that and go baseline, where they thought that they would take advantage of so much of the attention that Golden State's shooters were going to command. And if you look at the timing of when Jordan Poole rips this one baseline and tries to go, it's meant to sync up with coming off of that screen, that gut action in the middle of the floor from Moses Moody, Moses Moody had a really good game today. I want to make sure we shout him out, to really effective role player for the Warriors. But that baseline drive and refusal, clearing out that entire side in the lane, it doesn't work as well when you're willing to rove off of Draymond Green in the way that the Kings were. And Trey Lyles, great on the offensive end, made some key shots, willing to take a bunch of threes in a way that Domantas Sabonis really hasn't been throughout the series, and that was crucial to their offensive floor spacing. But man, smart instinctual plays that he made on the defensive end of the floor to just know when to collapse on other drivers. And he was great. He was great.
And this is also just a really small thing that I think is important to point out. Look at De'Aaron Fox's feet here against Jordan Poole. He is trying to force him to go inside, not outside. It's very, very small, but very important, because if Jordan Poole can fully get to the baseline here and can turn the corner on De'Aaron Fox, that is where it becomes harder for Trey Lyles to help. Here, by having his feet set and with this quick little drop step here by De'Aaron Fox and the ability to beat him to that spot, he keeps his shoulders in front of him, keeps his chest in front of him. That makes Poole spin back into the help of Trey Lyles here. Just across the board, a really terrific defensive effort, I thought, by the Sacramento Kings. Detail-oriented, really, really, really aggressive, and really high-level scheme, I thought, in terms of the coaching staff to make some adjustments throughout the game, depending on the personnel that was out there. They went smaller. They went a bit more aggressive. They were a little bit happier to switch. When Sabonis was out there, even at times with Lyles out there early in the game, they were more than happy to just fight over the top and go. I thought it was tremendous, tremendous work defensively from the Sacramento Kings in this game.
I got to give De'Aaron Fox a few more flowers than he's getting right now, because for him to do as much as he did on the defensive end in following around Mr. Tireless Steph Curry throughout the game. I know Terence Davis took on a lot of those matchups, but that falls on Fox's shoulders a lot too. For him
Yep.
to have the blistering pace that he had, I thought in the second quarter in particular, as soon as the Warriors scored, like, Sacramento, we're small. We are running. We're jamming it down their throat. We're not letting Kevon Looney be able to stay on the floor because he's not going to get back in transition fast enough to protect the basket from De'Aaron Fox layups. And they got 6 points in that second quarter, just going off of Golden State makes. And that really raised the tempo of the game and forced the Warriors to try to pick up their pace on the offensive end, which is where Sacramento's pressure ultimately broke them down. So it's not just the defensive game planning from the Kings. It's how they leaned into, we're just going to take a bunch of really quick shots. We're going to get up the floor and put pressure on the rim early. And if we get a one pass kick out three for one of our shooters with 18 on the shot clock, we're going to take it. Not all of them went in, but they were aggressive throughout the game at hunting early clock shots and saying, we are raising the tempo of this game.
Yeah. No, I thought it was really, really impressive. I thought it was super, super impressive across the board from the Kings. I'm really glad you brought up the transition idea. Transition has just been so crucial for the Kings in this series and their willingness to push the ball down the Warriors' throats. De'Aaron Fox was tremendous in this game. He had 26 points, 11 assists. Malik Monk, I feel like we probably haven't even we've given him his flowers defensively more than offensively. And he dropped 28 points, 7 rebounds, and 4 assists. I thought this was maybe the best game, like in totality, like a complete game. I know Malik has had some really high level offensive games previously. You go back through history, but man, I thought that Malik's offensive and defensive overall contribution was higher than what I'd seen previously from him at any point in terms of a well-rounded game throughout the course of his career.
He was really good, and he got nuclear hot there at the end of the third quarter. I think it helped them keep that lead pushed to about 10. He and Steph or Clay were trading a couple shots there for a minute. Like, he can get super hot on the offensive end of the floor, but like you said, being engaged on defense allows him to stay on the floor for longer periods of time. And knowing that he is just long and decently athletic is going to help him a lot as long as he's tuned in. So the progression we've seen from Malik Monk over the last year or two, incredibly, incredibly impressive. I agree. I think this is one of the best career games he might have ever played.
Yeah, I'm honestly like looking through like his career to see how many times he's dropped like 45, 50 points. He dropped 45 earlier this year in that weird like 176, 175 game against the Clippers. He also had 41 at the end of the year last year at one point, but he's had a bunch of 30-point games. He's had a bunch of, pretty solid level games sometimes on losing teams with the Hornets, who he started his career with. I do feel confident saying, given in that spot, in those moments, with the defensive contribution, in addition to the offensive contribution, I think that was probably Malik Monk's best game as a professional at this point. He was absolutely tremendous on both sides of the court, rebounded the ball, made high-level passing reads, got nuclear hot, and defended at a really high level. So shout out Malik Monk. I gave Terence Davis a lot of flowers earlier. I think Malik Monk, certainly deserves just as many, if not more, given the offensive contribution that he made as well.
Yep. And Keegan Murray, a rookie who we were talking about after the first 2 games in this series, of how viable is it that he continues to stay on the floor in the starting rotation. How good has he been since game 2 and when the series went back to San Francisco? Really, really impressed by how this rookie has contributed to winning basketball.